I got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 wrenches in my top drawer of my Snap-on box. Hey, what's up guys? This is MJ100K and today I'm going to answer the question, what is the best year Dodge Charger? The Dodge Charger has been in production off and on since 1966. There are 7 different generations for this vehicle. So before I give you my pick for the best years, we're going to watch a little video montage that I made just for you so that you can see each generation for yourself. When we come back, I'll give you my picks for the best years Dodge Charger, Classic and Modern. We're also going to talk about some modern Dodge Charger maintenance tips and common problems. So here we go, Dodge Charger video montage, every generation. I hope you like it. It took me forever to make this thing. All right, here we go. So as you can see, the Dodge Charger is an amazing car. So I'm going to divide up my best year picks between modern and classic. For the classic, I'm going to pick the second generation, years 1968 to 1970 for the best classic old school Charger. I picked the second generation Dodge Charger as the best because, I mean, just look at it. It was the Dukes of Hazzard car. It's the hero car for the Fast and Furious movie series. The car literally flies through the air. I mean, what more do you want out of a car? It's definitely one of the coolest, toughest, and 100% badass cars ever made. If Chuck Norris were a car, he'd be a second generation Dodge Charger, and that is a scientific fact.
It's science.
In addition to looks, the Dodge Charger was also a beast on the racetrack. In 1969, Dodge made an ultra-high performance limited edition version of the Dodge Charger just to crush the competition in NASCAR races. This was the Dodge Charger Daytona. The Charger Daytona won its first race and a total of 6 races between 1969 and 1970.
Shake and bake.
What does that do? Did that blow your mind?
In fact, at Talladega on March 24th, 1970, Buddy Baker became the first driver in NASCAR to break the 200 mile per hour mark. A few things that helped the Charger Daytona go so fast were its massive V8 engine, as well as its massive 23-inch stabilizer wing on the rear, and a special sheet metal nose cone in the front. One of my teachers in engineering school told us that Dodge engineers are known around the industry as being really good at mastering the concepts of airflow. That includes engine airflow as far as the headers, cylinder design and exhaust, and also airflow around the car itself. They were so ahead of the competition that NASCAR executives banned aero specs like this on cars with engines bigger than 305 cubic inches. I mean, that's just like a Charger. Walk into a bar, beat everyone senseless, and then get kicked out and banned for life. So my picks for the best years to buy a modern Charger are based on the durability of the powertrain, not necessarily features and horsepower numbers. I mean, besides, if you're going to try to increase the horsepower yourself, it's best to start with the strongest powertrain. You don't want to build your house on sand. I'm going to pick any year 2015 or newer. The reason is, in 2015, the 8-speed ZF transmission became the default transmission option. When you look to buy a Charger, V6 or V8, the 8-speed ZF transmission is the one you want. Now, ZF is a German auto parts company that has been around for over 100 years, and they are known for making great transmissions. The ZF 8-speed transmission is used by many other OEMs, including BMW, Rolls-Royce, and it's also in the 5th generation Toyota Supra. So here's a fun fact. Chrysler Group is licensed to produce the 8-speed transmission at the company's transmission plant in Kokomo, Indiana. Hey, guess what? I actually worked there in their warranty department for a little while, but I'll tell you that story some other time. But yeah, the 8-speed is definitely the one you want. It's a really good transmission. So as we all know, 99% of all cars have common problems, and these common problems can be fixed. The biggest common problem for the Charger V6 is oil leaks from the oil filter housing adapter. But now there's an updated part for this from Dodge that will fix this issue. So if you find yours leaking, you definitely want to get this part from your local dealership. So FYI, the OEM part is plastic, but there's also an all-metal version that is made by a company called Dorman that some people prefer. So listen, I've been watching a really good YouTube channel called Online Mechanic Tips. And this channel is made by a current Dodge dealership mechanic. Mr. Online Mechanic Tips has said in many of his videos that the updated OEM part will definitely fix the issue. Now, I'm inclined to believe him because he actually works on these engines every day. Now, honestly, if I had one of these cars, I would be tempted to get the metal Dorman version. But I have seen some people complain online that the Dorman metal version does not cool the oil quite as well as the OEM updated part, because this part doesn't just hold the oil filter, it also acts as a cooler. You can get whichever part you feel is best for you, but for me, since I can't verify that the part is equal in all ways to the OEM part, I don't want it. I want parts to be exactly 100% the same in shape and performance. So personally, I'm going to recommend getting the OEM part, even though the Dorman is tempting. I'm going to stick with Mopar here. It's Mopar or no car, as they say. I called the Dodge dealership and they said the new part number is 6859613 and costs $314 at this time. The Dorman part cost varies depending on where you buy it, but it's around $300 as well, so you decide. For the modern V8 Charger, the most common problem is the infamous Hemi tick. From my research, it looks like there are two possible causes. The first cause is from the exhaust manifold bolts breaking off or becoming loose, so the bolts that usually come loose are closer towards the rear of the engine. The second cause for the Hemi tick is the hydraulic lifters. Now, one hint to tell the difference between the tick causes is, if it's caused by the exhaust manifold bolts, the tick will go away as the car warms up usually. But if it's the lifters, the tick won't go away. Either way, if you hear the engine ticking, you want to get this fixed as soon as possible. If you catch it soon enough, you might not damage other costly parts like the camshafts. And if you let it go too long, the metal shavings can build up in your oil and take out your whole engine. If you're going to replace the oil filter adapter housing yourself on the V6, make sure that you flush the coolant and change the oil after replacing this part. If you're going to change the oil yourself, which if you can, you should, you're going to need a special oil filter socket, and they're cheap to buy online. I bought mine for like 15 bucks. So in my research online, I found that a lot of people are recommending Valvoline full synthetic oil for these engines. My recommendation is as they get older, you want to start to change the oil more often, maybe every 3,000 to 4,000 miles. It's a lot cheaper to change your oil more often as the cars age than it is to replace the entire engine, as I'm sure you know. The transmission filter is integrated with the transmission pan for this car. So they're not lying if they tell you you need to replace the transmission pan in order to get a new filter. I know it's not like this in most transmissions, but for this one it is. So to sum things up, I definitely enjoyed making this video. I hope you enjoyed watching it. And if you have any questions, you can put them in the comments down below. And also, if you have any Dodge Charger stories, especially the second generation Dodge Charger, I would really love to hear them. The 70s were a little bit before my time. And I'd love to hear about the late 60s, early 70s Chargers. I mean, was there a feeling back then that these cars were going to be considered one of the best cars ever made? I'm sure many people around the world would love to hear your Dodge Charger stories. So anyway, thank you for tuning in and have a good one.